Welcome back to my series, Rebuilding the New York Islanders. This is going to be part 3 of the series, so if you haven't caught part 1 and part 2, make sure you go tune into those before you start this video. This is going to be season number 4, so we really haven't had that much success yet. We're going to start off in the draft, and we're going to continue to build and try and get us a Stanley Cup here in season number 4 and number 5. This year in the draft, we do have the 4th overall pick from the New York Rangers in the exchange we did last year. We also have 32 in the second round, 26 and 31 in the third round, and then a couple late round picks as well. But this 4th overall pick is either going to be a very good player that we can bring in immediately and make a difference for us, or we can trade it out and try and get a little bit better, for a player maybe to replace, Maverick Bork. We do have Ryan Marchment here, a two-way forward, NHL ready. He looks very good. 8+ shooting, A puck skills, 200-foot game, two-way forward. This might just be our Maverick Bork replacement. Play him on the third line immediately. We do have looks like Sierra as well is going to be a sniper, top 6 forward, not quite at the medium elite potential that Marchment is, but he is a center as well. Also NHL ready, but he just looks a little bit worse. His shooting, even though he's a center, even though he's a sniper, is only an A compared to Marchment's A+. So I think Marchment's the obvious choice there. The rest of these guys, they're a little bit ahead of our pick, probably not attainable. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at Ryan Marchment. I think that's our draft pick this year. We'll do a fine trade, see if anybody wants to blow us away with an offer for the 4th overall pick. But if not, this looks like a pretty valuable trade for our franchise in the future. And we can bring this guy in immediately and make an impact for us. So hopefully he's, an 80 overall, somebody like that we can use on that third line. 80 overall, I think that's fine. He will start developing immediately. Ryan Marchment's going to be our new third line center. Maverick Bork is probably going to get moved out at some point, or maybe we keep him and put Marchment on a winger or put Bork on a winger. But yeah, this guy looks like a huge part of our future for the next couple of years that we got on a trade that I don't even remember what it was for. So next pick, 64 overall. We'll take a look at the draft class, see what we have at the 64th range, at the 64 pick range. It's going to be pretty deep into the draft, and our scouts might not have a great idea of what we should take around here. There's a top 9-4 Vandermeer. A few years away. He is very big, 6'4", 222 pounds. So a big nose for a net guy, power forward. I'm not opposed to that. But we might just trade these picks back, continue to gather ammunition for the future, or we could take a guy that we like in the end of the 3rd. Our guy is gone already, so I'm going to sort by potential, see if there's anybody that I really like around this range. Maybe a goalie, Psychov here looks okay. It's taking a second to load. He is a gym. Potentially medium elite potential, 4 years until he's ready for the NHL. We'll go ahead and spend a draft pick on him. And he is medium elite, so that's great. Number 90 in the draft. We'll see if there's anybody around this range that we like. If not, I'll take a look at trading this pick away. I think I'm probably just going to find a trade here and store resources for the future in case we need to make trades for players. So take our 2 third-round picks. Maybe we can get a second-round pick next year, maybe from the Ducks. I'm trying to find a team that's willing to part with their second-round pick next year to make it a little bit easier on us to trade for it. So the Sabres look like they're interested. We'll send these 2 third-round over for a second. Not quite. So maybe we'll add in our 7th-round pick into this. And we'll try the 6th-round pick. I really don't care about the picks. I just want, higher value picks to trade for players later if we need them. And we'll package the rest of our picks, the 4th, the 5th, and the 7th-round pick, and see if maybe we can get maybe another 2nd-round pick from somebody. Maybe Buffalo wants to trade that other 2nd-round pick that they have from the Colorado Avalanche. Is this enough to get that done? It is. All right, 2 2nd-round picks next year. That's more ammunition in our pocket to make this work. We'll go ahead and finish out the draft. We did pick up a high-value player at number 4 overall, so that's fun. And we'll add him to the roster and see where he falls. And right out of the draft, Calum Ritchie agrees to his contract extension. We're going to go ahead and move into the re-sign player section. The big one here is Maverick Bork. You have to see what he wants to do. He is an 86 overall, so he continues to go up. I just don't know if $5 million is something we can do with our contract situation right now. We only have $6 million in cap space. Going to go ahead and sign our draft pick that we made this last year at 4th overall, which is Marchment. Obviously, he's going to be a cheaper deal, so that's good to have somebody that's cheaper coming in. And we'll see if maybe we can negotiate with Maverick Bork. Maybe we can get him to come down a little bit. Try and charm him. That didn't work. So we're going to try and talk to him about the contract. You know, he wants a 5-year deal. And maybe I can do a 5-year deal for him, but it's going to have to go down in salary for sure. He's going to need to come down probably about $1 million to get down to 4. It's not working for him. Maybe we can get some clauses in here. So the best I can get from negotiations with him was a full no trade clause for years 2 through 5. Get him at 4.9 as opposed to the 5.9 that he's interested in for 5 years. I think 4.9 is a little high for a third line center right now, but at an 86 overall, I'm not too concerned about that. We could probably make it work if we needed to. The no trade clause is a little rough for me. I don't know if I want to offer that. So I'm going to go ahead and table the contract negotiations right now, and we'll come back to it a little bit later. Adam Boquist is just somebody that's going to have to go. We're not going to be able to make this work for $5 million, so I'm going to go ahead and just release him off. You know, if we do need to make some moves, Holmstrom's a guy at 4.3, only an 83 overall. That's somebody that we could definitely move out. Sandberg as well at 3.9. I think we could probably make a better deal for a third-line defenseman. So we're going to advance a couple days. I got some scouts that I'm going to reassign to. Maverick Bork's going to come back, and we'll try some negotiations with him again. After talking with Bork again, I'm going to try and do a $5 million deal for 5 years. A modified no trade clause, so there will still be a little bit of an escape valve for us if we need to use it. That's my big priority here. I want to keep Maverick Bork around. He is getting better as he gets older, but with the way our salary is lining up, I just want to be able to escape from it if needed. So I'm going to offer this contract over. He's going to get back to us. Hopefully that's enough to keep him around, because I do think 86 overall, you know, that's a good, really good third line center. The depth down the middle for us would be ridiculous if we can keep him around. And Maverick Bork's going to stick around. So that's pretty much the big contract of the year for us. We are going to be pretty tight on cap space, only $2 million left. And we do probably need a third line defenseman. We'll take a look at what we got here. Radko Gudas is going to go. Definitely not paying him again. Benning is somebody that I'll go ahead and qualify right now. But we're going to have, let's see here, our top 4 here. I was looking, okay, Mathew Schaefer is going to get a little bit better as well. Then we have Sandberg, and then is Aitcheson ready to take that step? You know, it looks like he possibly could be. He's 78 overall. We'll continue to look around. Maybe there's a depth defenseman we can pick up and get rid of quickly if it's not working out for us, and he can step in for that. Other than that, the main roster looks pretty much set. I'm going to look at Victor Eklund and see what his progression looks like. 78 overall. He might be ready to take that step into a position as well on our roster. And I think this is pretty much our window. You know, we're in year 4. I think in year 4 or 5, we're going to try and get to that Stanley Cup and get us a win. Mathew Schaefer is going to get a little bit better as well. So, yeah, hopefully this is the start of our championship run. Moving on into free agency this year, it's probably time for our depth pieces in the prospect pool to start filling in the bottom of our lineup as we move further in the franchise. You know, our prospect pool is pretty deep. Probably have them on the 4th line forwards, 3rd line defensemen, and in our depth positions. The free agency class this year looking ridiculous. Zach Werenski's here at a 90 overall. Cutter Gauthier is here at a 90 overall. Aaron Ekblad at 89. We do have the other Eklund brother. This would be a very fun addition to bring in, but he is, you know, very expensive, $12 million a year, and he's an RFA. I just don't think that we can make that happen as much as I'd love to. Ventelli's here. You know, we're probably going to be looking for bottom, you know, 3, bottom 4 defensemen and forward lines as well. So, you know, these are the guys that we're probably not going to be in competition for right now. Our core is pretty much set. So I'm going to go through this. We might make a trade on some of our younger guys that, you know, are just making a little bit too much money, like, you know, on the 3rd and 4th line, and see if we can maybe fill those positions from the inside of our organization a little bit cheaper. Holmstrom is definitely one of them at 4.3 and 83 overall. Sandberg, you know, Probably a little overpaid, but it is kind of hard to find defensemen this late in a franchise making under $4 million. Same thing, Romanov, I think, is a fantastic deal for us. Heineman, I think, is a fine deal. So it really looks like Holmstrom is the guy to go here. Now, he does play on our third line, right winger. We could just let this roll and plug in our new 4th overall pick, but maybe we can pick up a prospect in the trade that can come in later on. So I'm going to look through these teams, see which ones are interested in him, and try and make a trade to clear up a little bit more cap space for us. And here's a trade we're going to make for Holmstrom. It's going to be Jake Bean from the Nashville Predators. 81 overall, offensive defenseman. You know, he might just end up being our 7D, or we could flip him again if we don't need him. And a 4th round pick, basically just a salary cap dump. We're going to clear up a little over $2 million in salary here. So we're going to go ahead and send that over. And that makes our cap space a little bit more manageable. We're at $5 million for the year. Again, we are pretty much set on, center, on all of our forward lines are pretty much set right now. And yeah, I think that's where we're set for the year. We're going to go ahead and fly through this free agency class, see if I add anybody else. But if not, we're going to see the lines for year number 4 as you go ahead and we're going to push for a Stanley Cup this year. I think this is our window. And here's our lineup going to year number 4. Siplikov, Barzal, Eiserman are going to make up the first line once again. Nyes, Johnson, Perreault on the second line. Our 4th overall pick, Marchment, with Bork and Eklund making his NHL debut, are going to be our 3rd line. Heineman, Ritchie, and Texier are going to be our 4th line for the year. Moving over to defense, Sanderson and Schaefer. Schaefer making his arrival already at an 86 overall. Polak going down 1 overall. He's getting a little bit older. He's going to be on that second line with Romanov, Sandberg, and then Kashawn Aitcheson is going to make his debut. So the entire 2025 draft class is here in the lineup, hoping to make an impact. And we have a new draft pick as well making an impact. So we got a good infusion of young and old. Our core is looking great. Some of our players are aging a little bit. Mathew Barzal, 31, Siplikov, 30. But this is our window. In the next 2 years, this year, next year, we're going to be making a push for that Stanley Cup. Looking at our contracts again for this year, we really are locked up long term. There's a few guys here at the bottom of the lineup that we're going to have to take a look at the end of the year. Aitchison's going to need a new deal. Go ahead and take a look at him, see what he's looking for. I'm going to go ahead and sign this deal just to extend him out a little bit further. Now that he's getting regular playing time, it's probably going to go up if we allow him to continue. Victor Eklund also looking for a new deal. I'm going to go ahead and try and extend him out for a couple years as well, since he is going to get some playing time this year as well. It's probably going to go up if he does. He's not entirely interested in extension, so I'm going to go a couple days here and just see what he says. But we're going to go ahead and sim to the trade deadline, see what our lineup looks like around that time, see what our record is, and see what our stats look like as well. And Eklund's going to be excited, so that's a great news as we go into the season. Well, the team started out really hot in year number 4. How unfortunately, they got hit with the injury bug right around February, and we've had a pretty rough stretch in February, winning only 2 games in the entire month. Granted, we did have about a week break on the second week, but still, not a good month of February has brought us down. We were at first in the division, now we're at 3rd, so there's definitely some room for improvement, but I think we just need to get healthy. We'll take a look at the trade deadline after we look at the stats so far in the year, and it's just been a rough year with injuries so far. Some of the bigger guys, Siplikov's gone down, Mathew Schaefer's been down a little bit, so tough year. Matthew Nyes as well. Looking at the stats, Cole Eiserman has 60 points in 62 games, running at about a point a game. Mathew Barzal just under that as well at 57. Wyatt Johnson with 55. Siplikov with 53. Everybody is doing really well in the top 2 lines, almost a point per game for the first 5 players in our lineup. Matthew Nyes is a little bit under that at 42 points, but doing pretty well there. Maverick Bork at 33, a little bit over half a point a game from our 3rd line center position. Jake Sanderson at 32 points, again, about half a point a game from our first line defense. I mentioned this earlier, but Mathew Schaefer's been in and out a little bit, missing a game here and there. So he's at 15 points, a little bit underperforming, I would say, for him, but he is still only 21 years old and still coming into it. Looking at the rookie scoring race, Victor Eklund is leading our rookies, the 3 that we have, with 30 points in 62 games. About half a point a game. I don't think that's too bad for a rookie. That's a pretty great year. Marchment at 19 points. Nothing blowing me away, but they both are on the 3rd line, so they're not getting the biggest opportunities, but they are, I'd say, doing pretty well. Aitchison at 9 points in 62 games. Not bad for a 3rd pairing defenseman either. In terms of the entire league in the rookie scoring race, there are a couple rookies above them, above Eklund that is they're probably gonna be the head leaders for the Calder Trophy this year. Rubric is at 40 points already in 62 games. Vitale at 34. So Eklund's got some work to do to catch up to them to be, a top of the line Calder candidate. But these guys are putting up ridiculous seasons for rookies. So just a good rookie season overall for the entire year, it appears. We're going to go into the trade deadline. I don't know if we need to make any actual trades here. Looking at our contracts, our core is locked down for the next couple years. There might be some guys we want to get rid of if we can find a replacement for Jake Bean if he's cheaper, but he's an 81 overall. I might be interested in swapping him out for maybe not an offensive defenseman, just somebody who is, defensively minded, so they come in, they're not doing anything crazy. Ty Cartier, I think, is fine right now as well. These are expiring contracts that I'm really not too worried about. They're all relatively cheap. Calum Ritchie is a guy that I'd like to extend if possible. We'll go ahead and give him try and get that second year of RFA status if we can. Maybe a 1.25 is probably fine for the fourth line, and he's going to be back, and he still has RFA status at the end of that. I think we're pretty much set. We'll take a look at the trade deadline, see if there's anything obvious, but I imagine we're going to come out of that with pretty much the exact same team that we went in with. Only trade of the deadline is going to be Jake Bean for Ryan O'Rourke. He's just a little bit younger, 80 overall, plays both left and right side, and he's a two-way defender. I think he's good for a 7D for us. We save a tiny bit of money, like $100,000, so I don't think it's anything like cap saving wise. I just think he fits our 7th D role a little bit better than Jake Bean does, and he can step in and play either side if we need him to. Other than that, though, I've gone through the trade deadline. Nothing really sticking out to me. I think we're in a good spot. Our core is locked in. We just need to, let some of these guys age a little bit more. Let Eklund, let Schaefer, let Calum Ritchie age a little bit more, gain experience, gain in overall. And I think we're going to be in a good spot, to make the playoffs this year, make a run for the cup. And then this year, next year, I think is, pretty much our prime window to do that. So we'll sim out the rest of the year. Mathew Schaefer hurt again, so some of the rest of the year, plug in people when we need to plug them in, but hopefully, we can just get to the playoffs and make a deep run at this thing. At the end of the regular season, we ended up at 49, 26, and 7, so a little bit better than we were last year. The difference this year was our division was much better than it was last year. The Devils and Hurricanes both finished above us, so we're third in the division. We'll go into the playoffs not having home ice advantage this time. We'll take a look at our regular season stat leaders, see what they look like. I imagine we're probably pretty balanced. Cole Eiserman did lead the team with 82 points in 82 games, exactly a point per game. 38 goals, so a little bit down in his goal scoring last year. He did put up about 40 last year. Barzell at 80 points in 82 games, so nearly a point per game, and he's been so consistent for us, being right around that point per game this entire rebuild. Sipolkov at 70 points in 80 games. Perreault at 68 and 81. Johnson at 67, so, again, pretty balanced. Matthew Knies at 55 and 76. Bork at 47, almost 50 points from that third line center role. Victor Eklund did put up 42 points from the third line as well, so that's a pretty good rookie season. I'm not sure it's going to be enough to win the Calder this year, just some really good rookie seasons throughout the league. Jake Sanderson put up 46, probably his best year yet in terms of points, so that's good to see. Our other rookie, Marchment, put up 26. Not a bad year for him, but I doubt he's going to be anywhere close to the Rookie of the Year voting. And Mathew Schaefer put up 25. Only 4 goals this year. He did put up double digits last year, so a little bit of a step back in goal scoring. But in terms of overall, he is progressing, already up to an 87 overall. This team is young. It's just going to get better. So we'll take a look at the entire league, see what they've done in terms of points, take a look at rookie scorers and goalies as well. In the entire league, McDavid's going to lead the league again, 132 in points. Draisaitl right behind him at 120, so the dynamic duo of Edmonton continues. Kaprizov at 119. Marco Rossi with 118. A huge year from the centerman out of Minnesota. He's been rumored in trades all year in the 2025 year in real life. But 90 overall, 118 points. I certainly wouldn't trade him if that was in the future in real life. Sam Reinhart, 114 points. Barkov, 113. Kachuk, 113. A big trio here in Florida. McKinnon at 107. We really haven't seen much of McKinnon at the top of the leaderboards this year, these rebuilds. Same thing with Natchez. Bedard with a 100-point season. A ton of guys this year with 100-point seasons all the way through the first screen here. Last year we only had like 4. So big uptick in scoring in terms of the big-time scorers. terms of goals, it's going to be McDavid at 65, Kaprizov at 65 as well, Pasternak at 63, McKinnon at 63, Draisaitl 58, Bedard at 57, Barkov, Reinhart, and Tkachuk all have 44. Very consistent there in Florida. In terms of rookie scorers, take a look at the point leader. It's going to be Vitali in Edmonton, followed by Rubric and Robichad. 43 points for him, 47 for Rubric, and 52 for Vitali. So Eklund comes in at 42, fourth in Rookie of the Year voting, I would likely say, based on points. He did end up, down a little bit in goal scoring. It was not that close in terms of, the leaders here, 24 for Robichad. I would imagine it's probably going to be Vitali who wins the Rookie of the Year voting. In terms of goalies this year, we'll take a look at wins. Peter Kochetkov at 29 years old is putting up 45 wins, a 909, a 268. I mean, not a fantastic year, but he did put up a lot of wins. Joseph Wall got 44 wins, a 903, 269. Again, not fantastic numbers in terms of save percentage and goals allowed, but you're getting the job done. Wallstay got 40 wins as well, a 916, 243. That is a very good year. And Bobrovsky with the Devils, interesting. I assumed he retired, but I guess he just moved teams. 40 wins, 919, 249 at 40 years old, putting up 40 wins. That is very impressive. And then our guy, Ilya Sorokin, 39 wins, a 908 and a 277. Not a terrific year in terms of save percentage and goals against, but you will take fifth in the league in wins. Follow that out by Hill, Vasilevsky, Ottinger, and Hellebuck to round out the goalies. So yeah, I mean, it looks like a lot of points being scored this year in terms of, point scoring, goal scoring, and assist. Going into the playoffs, we're not going to have home ice advantage. We're going to have to strap in and really push for these playoffs. I think this is a year, going into year 4 of the playoffs, that we can make a run for this cup. We are, our core is locked in. We are in a good spot. We just have to, win some games when it matters the most. So we'll go through these playoffs. We're going to simulate the first 3 games against the Carolina Hurricanes. We did finish them out on the regular season with a loss, so hopefully we can not do that in the playoffs. So game 1 against Carolina is going to be a win. 5-3 win against Carolina in game 1, a 5-4 win against Carolina in game 2, so we're up 2-0 going in to game 3, and we win that one as well. So we're up 3-0 on Carolina. They did sweep us last year. We'll see if we can return the favor in round 1 of this year. And we can. So a 4-0 sweep of Carolina in the first round. We're going to go down to the second round now and see who we're going to match up with there. Second round matchup is going to be against the Devils. The first game, I'm going to send the first 3 games, see how we end up stacking up in the first 3. We lose the first one 4-1. We lose the second one 5-2. We do win the third one 6-5. Can we even the series up in game 4? No, we cannot. Down 3-1 again. It's going to be tough to push this one out. We're going to go ahead and do a quick sim on this one just because like I said, we're in the meat of the rebuild now. I'd like to be able to watch these games and push our team. Out of the first period, we're up 1-0. Maverick Bork with a goal against Sergei Bobrovsky. We're going to go ahead and continue into period 2 now. Time flying by. Pretty much even shots, 12-13 for the Devils. And we do get a goal on the power play. It's Cole Eiserman against Bobrovsky again. Now the Devils have a power play. See if they can get them back. They cannot. Back on the power play, and we're going to score again. Matthew Nyes on Bobrovsky. Looks like from the left or from the right dot. Hopefully we can take a 3-0 lead going into the third period. That would be great. That gives me a good feeling about keeping this one going, keeping the series alive. They cannot score on their power play. So it seems like power plays are going to be the difference tonight as we scored on the Matthew Nyes one. But they do get a goal back. It's Jack Hughes on Sorokin, and they get another one back immediately. Burakovsky on Sorokin from looks like the middle of the ice. Oh boy, so we're going to go into the third period now. It's going to be 3-2, up by 1 goal. Can we continue? We're going to go ahead and send the rest of the game, and we do hold on, 3-2. Perfect. All right, so we're going to continue this series out now. Simulate to the next game. All right, underway here now. We're going to speed up the sim a little bit. Not a whole lot going on. 3-2 shots about 5 minutes into the period. There's a goal. Nico Hischier on Sorokin. So we're going to be down 1-0. Hopefully we can push back. We do get a goal, Siprakov on Bobrovsky at 7 minutes in the first period, left in the first period. Moving on now to the second period. We are really out shooting them now, 16-10 in shots. Hopefully that means we're dominating and controlling the game. We get a power play, and we score on that one. Cole Eiserman from the top of the circles. It looks like now the Devils are going to get a power play of their own, and they can't score on theirs. So we're up 1-2. Hopefully we hold this lead out. Another power play in the period, and we don't score on it. But we are going to take a 1-goal lead into the third period, and they immediately tie it up. Mason Appleton is going to get the goal to tie it up in the third, and they're back on the power play. Oh, and another goal. Luke Hughes. That one's going to be tough to come back from in the third period. 3 minutes. We're going to have to pull the goalie at some point. Under 2 minutes now. And we get a goal. Calum Ritchie. Calum Ritchie's going to score the game-tying goal. We're going to go to overtime. And we're going to go ahead and actually jump into this game. And we're going to watch this game happen. All right, start of overtime. Barzell's going to win the face-off. Back to Mathew Schaefer. Gets held up at the red line. Puck is free. Brad's going to pick it up. Over to Luke Hughes. Spins it back. Now it's Sanderson up to Eiserman. He's got a little bit of a break. Makes a deke at the circle. Tries to get inside, and it's poked away by Bobrovsky. Picked up by Justin Bratt. It does eventually get out to Timo Meier. He's going to skate across the blue line. Over to Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes across ice to Luke Hughes. Hughes-brother connection, but it gets broken up and picked up by Schaefer. Hughes coming across the blue line. Makes a deke. Going to take it into Meier, and he gets a shot away, and it's almost bounced off the Islanders defender right into the net. And now a turnover. Looks like Hischier over to Luke Hughes, and a good stick there by Eiserman. A deflection that almost goes in the net, and he's going to take it up to Burakovsky. Burakovsky has scored a big goal in this series, but he gets angled off, and now it's up to Saplikov again across the blue line. Hischier's going to take over for the Devils. And they want to turn it back in. It's Dougie Hamilton. Over to Nicholas Waugh. Waugh to the middle, and Kate's in a big glove save by Sorokin. Keeps this one empty. He keeps no goals on the scoreboard in overtime. Obviously a big save there. Perreault's having a great playoffs. Looks like Eiserman's having a great playoffs. Calum Ritchie scored that big goal to tie the game up right as the clock was getting down. Sorokin with a windmill glove save right off the face-off, and we'll do it again. It's going to be Bork versus Waugh. Bork wins it straight back, but Noah Cates jumps the route. Over to Waugh. Shot. It bounces off of Sorokin, and it's picked up. Another big shot, but that one's blocked by Bork, and he's going to get it up to Eklund. Eklund's going to skate across the blue line. Look for a shooting lane. Big rebound, and it's scored by Romanov! And we're going to force a game 7. Looks like Eklund's going to get the assist on it, so 2 big young players for us. Calum Ritchie with the goal that ties the game. Eklund with the assist on Romanov's goal. May have been kicked in. We'll take a look at it on the replay because I barely could tell what happened. So it's a low shot by Eklund, kicked out by Bobrovsky, but it goes straight to Romanov, and it does go off his skate. Could have a little bit of a controversy here. I mean, that looks like it gets straight up kicked into the net, but you know what? I guess we'll take it. Maybe it's because it deflected afterwards after it was kicked, but we'll take that. Game 7 coming up now in the Devils-Islanders series. But hopefully we can take this game in less dramatic fashion than the last one. Noah Cates going to score almost immediately on Sorokin. Looks like from the top of the dots. Pollock's going to answer right back, though, before the end of the first period. Now we're going to have a power play. Can we score on this one? We cannot. They're going to hold. Time passing now. Shots are equal at 7-7. New Jersey's going to have a power play. And no goal. 2 shots on the power play, but Sorokin saves them both. Under 5 minutes now in the first period, and Burakovsky's going to score again. Another big goal from Burakovsky. This one from the left circle. And we're now under 2 minutes in the first period. It looks like the Islanders are going to take a 2-1 deficit into the first. Power play for the Devils early in the second period. And they score on it. Just for Bratt, it's going to make it 3-1 on a power play goal from the middle of the circles. Barzell's going to get a sharp angle shot almost from the boards, and that's going to squeak in through Bobrovsky. And then Bork ties it right back up. A very similar spot, top of the right circle. These do not look like high danger shots to me, but we're tied up. And Michael Carcone is going to untie it almost immediately after that. It's 3-4. Can we tie it back up before the end of the second period? We cannot. Burakovsky puts his second goal of the game in. This one from a similar spot of the Bork goal on the other side of the ice. And we're going to be down 2 goals into the third again. We're going to need a hero. Can Calum Ritchie step up? Is it going to be Mathew Schaefer? Who is he going to be to step up on the ice now and tie this game back up and send us to overtime once again? Connor Brown's going to get it, and looks like this is going to be close to over as we're down 3 goals with under 13 minutes left in the game. We need a miracle. We need somebody big to come through. We're now under 10 minutes. Power play for the Devils. One here pretty much ends it, and that's going to be it. I'm going to go ahead and send it out the rest of the game. We're going to be losing this game 3-7, and that's going to end our run again in the second round once again. Unfortunate. We're going to go ahead and send to the rest of the playoffs, look at the stats afterwards, see who led our team, see who led the league. And the Devils did go on to be your Stanley Cup champions. We'll take a look at the league stats. We'll see who won the awards this year, and then we'll jump into the draft for year number 5. Art Ross this year is going to go to Connor McDavid, as well as the Hart Trophy, so those two stay intact. Norris to Cale Makar for the 4th year in a row. He's just absolutely dominating that category. Lady Bean to Kaprizov. The Calder's going to be Vitale. Conn Smythe is going to go to Burakovsky. I mean, he scored a couple big goals against us, so he must have had a great playoffs. Vezina Trophy is going to go to Bobrovsky. 40-year-old Sergei Bobrovsky is going to win the Vezina Trophy. The Wallstedt's going to win the William Jennings Trophy. The Bill Masterton is going to go to Brandon Carlo. Jack Adams going to Griffin for the Anaheim Ducks. And the Selke to Barkov. So he took a year off from winning it, let Robert Thomas win it for a year, and now he's back. Ted Lindsay is going to be Connor McDavid. And the Rocket Richard is going to go to Kaprizov. In terms of playoff stats, we didn't have a point-per-game player on our team. Eiserman, Perreault, Siplikov all had 10 points in 11 games. Bork with 9 points, a great playoffs from him from that third-line center position. Barzell with 9 points. Johnston with 8 points. Eklund, a terrific rookie campaign in his playoff debut, 8 points. Mathew Schaefer, another great performance from him in the playoffs with 8 points. Sanderson with 6. You know, a really balanced team in scoring. Matthew Knies was a little underwhelming at only 4 points. Calum Ritchie only 4 points, but one of those goals was a huge game-tying goal in Game 6. And Marchment had 4 points. He didn't do a whole lot in his rookie year in terms of scoring in the regular season or in the postseason. Then we'll take a look at the rest of the league in terms of points in the playoffs. Nathan MacKinnon led the entire league in points with 29, tied with Marty Necas, and Burakovsky had 28. In terms of goal scoring, looks like McKinnon led him with 15, Burakovsky with 13, so a terrific performance by Burakovsky, the 34-year-old. The New Jersey Devils just had a lot of veteran presence, it seems like. 40-year-old Bobrovsky winning the Vezina Trophy. Going over to the goalie saves, 15 wins for Bobrovsky in the playoffs. He did win the Vezina in the regular season, also had a 920 and a 248 in the playoffs, so just a legendary performance out of old man Bobrovsky at 40 years old. Mackenzie Blackwood had 11 wins, a 903. In terms of save percentage, nothing too shocking here. I mean, the biggest one obviously is that 920 from Bobrovsky, absolutely out of his mind. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the stats in the league this year. We'll take a look into the draft. Obviously, our core's pretty much set. We'll see what pick we have this year. It's going to be pretty high because we own our own pick, and we were in the second round. So we might end up trading that away. We might end up keeping it. We'll see, but this is the push. We're going to make a big push for the Stanley Cup this year. All of our big players from the 2025 draft, Schaefer, Eklund, Aitcheson, they're all going to be in the lineup long term. And this is the window. So it's time to make that push. I will see you guys at the draft. In the draft now, we do have the number 23 overall pick. We have a 31 in the second, 9 in the second, 7 in the third, and a couple late round picks as well. So take a look at the draft, see if there's somebody on that 23rd overall, area that looks good enough for us to draft. We don't know a lot about these guys. I don't really care about scouting at this point in the franchise. So I'm probably just going to look to trade this pick. Maybe we can package it up with somebody and get an improvement somewhere. All right, it's time for us to make a huge move. We're going after Matej Michkov. He's a 90 overall right wing, only 24 years old. He's got a goal X factor, which I think is a huge deal for us here. We only really have a couple of those on the team. I think we need more to really push us over the edge. Siplikov is going to go back with a first-round draft pick this year and a second, one of our top prospects in Fitzgerald, and a first-round pick in 2031. It's just time for us to take a swing. It's not working. We're not getting past the second round, so we need to make a change to our top line, and Siplikov is just going to have to be a casualty for Michkov. So we'll send this over, see what they say, and they are going to accept that deal. So it's going to be a new look first line. It's going to be Eiserman, it's going to be Barzal, and it's going to be Siplikov. We might even take another swing and trade away Barzal? Question mark. We'll take a look at that. And that does take us to the 63 overall pick. So I'm just going to run through the rest of these draft picks. They're not going to be anything too important for us. So I will catch you guys at the beginning of season number 5. Looking at this year's free agency class, Cutter Gauthier is back here in free agency, along with Mason McTavish, Leo Carlson. Pretty much the entire, draft picks of the Anaheim Ducks somehow got to free agency this year. Adam Vintelli is here. Definitely some good options. We have about $8 million in cap space here. Just looking at our lineup, really the only guys that I think need upgraded are the draft picks that I'm rebuilding this team around, so I really don't want to do that. Probably just hold on to most of this cap hit unless I can find somebody that I really think is an improvement on our team, and I really don't see that right now. So we're going to roll into the next season now with the same team that we have. I'll show you guys what we're all looking like with the updated overalls. And we're just going to make a push for that Stanley Cup. Matvei Michkov is joining our team now. It should be a perfect fit on the first line as a playmaker. Should be feeding Cole Eiserman all day in that pairing. I think the rest of the team is really good as well. We have really good center depth, so I really think this is the team that's going to get it done, push us past the second round, and get us to that Stanley Cup that we are hoping so much to get to. Yeah, we'll follow up whenever we get there, and I'm just going to decline about 1,000 trade offers going into the season, and we'll see you guys with the updated overalls when we get there. Here is the team going into rebuild year number 5. Cole Eiserman, Barzal, and Michkov, the new addition on the top line. Perreault, Johnson, Nyes on the second line. Eklund, Bork, Marchman on the third line. Texier, Ritchie, and Heineman on the fourth line. Great chemistry from our forward group. Both the top lines have +5s. Then our defense is looking great again. It's going to be Mathew Schaefer and Jake Sanderson on the top line, a +5. Polak and Romanov on the second pairing, a +3. Sandberg and Aitcheson on the third pairing, a +3 as well. And our goalie this year, of course, is going to be Sorokin. Now, he is starting to fall off, 85 overall. If he's not doing the job come trade deadline, I will pull the trigger on a high-profile goalie trade. I'm really pushing for the Stanley Cup this year, and I can't have the goalie the thing that holds us back as he gets a little bit older. Other than that, though, I think the team is looking pretty good. Eklund's progressing well. Marchand's progressing pretty well. Bork took a little bit of a step back, same thing with Perreault, but I expect these guys to gain the overall back throughout the season. And other than that, I think we're ready to go. We're ready to push for that Stanley Cup in year number 5. Checking in at the trade deadline, we're at 34, 23, and 5. Good for 73 points so far. That's second in the division. The Devils at 83 points lead our division, and they're up there with the best in the league. The Bruins at 84, Avalanche at 83. So the division leaders, at least, are pretty good. Second overall in the division, I don't think that's too bad. We're going to take a look at our stats, see what's going on, and we're going to check pretty heavily on our goalie to make sure that's not a weakness of our team. So far in 62 games, Barzal's got 58 points, Michkov's got 52 points, Eiserman at 51 points, Johnston 47, Nyes 38, Perreault 36. Goal scoring, it looks like Michkov is leading in goal scoring with Eiserman right behind him at 22. So the first line's putting up a lot of goals, just nobody above the point per game mark so far. Sanderson at 31 points, doing his normal thing about half a point a game. Eklund at 27. Let's see what we can find. Yeah, Mathew Schaefer down here at 13 points in 62 games is just not good enough for what level he is right now, what his overall is. Let's take a look at our goalie, see what his numbers look like. 912, 270. Sorokin is putting up pretty good numbers, but he is down to an 83 now, so lost 2 more overall. He's down to a starting goalie role. I think it just might be time to pull the plug on Sorokin. We have a trade deadline coming up. We have some pieces to move. Pull the plug on him, get one of the good young goalies out into the league onto our team, and see what we can do for the rest of the year. So I'm going to go ahead and sim now to the trade deadline, and then we're going to hop in and see what we can figure out. So for the trade deadline this year, I realized about halfway through editing the video that my audio decided to cut out for the entire trade deadline sequence. So I'm here to give you an update on what we actually did in the trade deadline. Really, the only move we made was a Sorokin for Spencer Knight swap. Sorokin was an 83 overall at the time and aging. Spencer Knight was an 87 and much younger than him, so it was a little bit of an upgrade, and it was a younger goalie for the team. Other than that, we really didn't do much. We didn't make any other trades, and we just sent through the rest of the trade deadline. So sorry about that, but I am going to go ahead and just push forward the video as it was, and that is the trade deadline for this year. Well, we had a disaster of a year. 43, 34, and 5. Gonna take a look at the stats, gonna take a look at the around the league stuff and send through the playoffs, but I can't finish on a year like this. I'm gonna have to run it back one more time to see if we can push it for a Stanley Cup. We just had a collapse. You can see at the end of the year there, it was not very pretty at all. And I don't think 94 points is, that bad. It just had a really good division, wasn't enough to get into the playoffs with that. So we'll send through the rest of the playoffs. We'll check out the stats. We'll run through the draft, run through all the free agent signings again, and I think this is just a team. I'm going to try and run it back again, let our young players get a little bit better, re-sign who I need to re-sign, and we'll see if we can push it for year number 6 on the rebuild. And the Minnesota Wild are your Stanley Cup champions this year. We'll take a look at the playoff stats and the awards for the year, take a look at our stats, and see where we stacked up and where we went wrong. Art Ross this year is going to be Barkov with the Hart as well. Norris is going to be won by Evan Bouchard, putting him into the run of Cale Makar. Pasta is going to win the Lady Byng. The Calder is going to go to Perisic and the Capitals. The Conn Smythe is going to go to Matt Boldy. Sebastian Costa is going to win the Vezina. Williams Jennings is going to be to Schmidt. Masterton to Hamara. And the Jack Adams is going to Chiodo for the New York Rangers. Selke is going to go to Bedard. Ted Lindy's also going to go to Barkov. The Rocket Richard is going to go to Pasta. Then back to the Art Rice and the Hart for Barkov. Take a look at our stats before we jump into the playoff stats, since I didn't do it at the end of the year. Barzell at the 70 points, 82 games played. Michkov 69, Johnson 67. Eiserman had a bad year at 65. Perreault at 53. Just, overall not good enough throughout the whole team. It looks like really the biggest disappointment probably was Mathew Schaefer, only 15 points playing on the top line. Even though he's a top 4 defenseman, 87 overall, that point total is just not good enough. For the playoffs, Matt Boldy, 31 points in 23 games. Kaprizov, 29 points in 23 games as well. Barkov, 27. Austin Matthews with 24 points. The lead leader in goals for the playoff is going to be Austin Matthews, 15 goals in 20 games. And we'll take a look at the goalie stats. 16 wins for Jesper Wallstedt, a 929 and a 223 goals against average. Joseph Wall is going to have 14 wins with a 907. Looks like Ottinger put up a really good playoffs as well, 934 with a 217. Philip Gustafson's at a 916. Nothing too surprising here. Just some pretty good numbers at the top of the list here with the 16 wins, 14 wins, and 11 wins. And that's what I'm going to call it for part 3 of the video. A disappointing into season number 5 for sure, but we're going to try one more year, see if we can't bring a Stanley Cup home to the New York Islanders in season number 6. If you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe so you can catch the final part of this series, and stick around to catch more hockey rebuilds just like this one. And that's going to do it for this episode. See you next time.